Some Abudu youth have warned against any attempt to disrupt the upcoming final funeral rites for the late Yana Yakubu Andani due to commence this weekend. The funeral follows that of Yana Mahamadu Abdullahi, the fourth, which was climaxed last week as part of the roadmap to peace drawn by the group of eminent chiefs. Though many have hailed the peaceful conduct of the rites so far, there are fears the roadmap is still very fragile. Addressing a news conference at Yendi in the northern region, spokesperson of a group of Abudu youth, Mumuni Shaba, said having cooperated with the process so far, they would expect the Andanis to extend same courtesies to them as their rites commence this Friday for 2 weeks.
The peaceful manner we have organized the funeral shows how ready and compromising we are towards a peaceful and united Dagbon. Even when some of our sympathizers were beaten by the attacks of the Kampakwena and hospitalized, we still restrained our members from any vindictive endeavor. We did so because we are law-abiding and because we respect our elders so much. We do not intend to bore you much with a recount of our journey thus far, but it's important we remind ourselves on some of the painful decisions and tardy progress we have made as a family in compliance with the tenets of the Roadmap to Peace Agreement.
The group alleged plans by some persons to enskin a new Gushena even before the funeral of the late Gushena Bawa Yakubu, and urged a group of eminent chiefs to act quickly and ensure it does not result in yet another needless clash.
Gushena must be told his role in the committee of kingmakers of Dagbon. He's a mere messenger who acts under the Gushena's directive. We are not therefore astounded that they are scheming to enskin a Gushena. When the funeral of the late Gushena, Bawa Yakubu, is yet to be performed. Once we, the compromising Abudu Yile and sympathizers, agree to perform the funeral of the late Yana Mahamadu Abdullahi, the fourth, without our concerns being addressed by the Committee of Eminent Chiefs, one of them being the performance of outstanding funerals, including Gushegu, we will resist any attempt by the Kampakwena section of the Andani family to do so. The Abudu family, Abudu royal family, were handed over the Jawab Palace to perform the funeral of the late Yana Mahamadu Abdullahi IV from the 14th to the 18th, 28th of December 2018. We have respected every bit of this directive and handed over the palace to the RESEC on the 28th December 2018. We expect that the Andani family will also go by the same directive and leave the palace on the 18th January 2019. We expect the MUSEC, the RESEC, and the Committee of Eminent Chiefs to enforce this directive without fear or favor, or else,
Now, 4 suspects, including a middle-aged woman, have been picked up by the Wokrom police in the Ashanti region over the death of a 37-year-old plantain chip seller. Naomi Opoku, described as a drunk, is believed to have been raped to death after she had been intoxicated at a drinking spot on Saturday. Her body was found lying supine in the vicinity the next day. My colleague Oheming Terry has been following the story and joins us with more on telephone. Hello, Oheming. What more can you share with us about this unfortunate death?
Thank you, Israel. The disease, Naomi Opoku, went hawking in the vicinity on Saturday, and according to police reports, he went to a particular spot, drinking spot, where she has been frequenting, and she got drunk. In the process, she couldn't control herself. So 2 gentlemen who live in the house which also houses the same spot, decided to send her to their room. So they did so, and few minutes when they went back to the room to check, they saw one of the suspects who has been arrested, allegedly raping the disease with the support of others who are at large. So they came back to report the incident to their granny, who was also in the same house. And later, when they went back to check on her, they realized her body had went cold. So they decided, with the advice of their mother, the granny, her grandmother, decided to dump the body in the streets of Bokrum. The fiancé of the deceased, identified as Awud Bashiru, reported disappearance to police. So the next day, they saw the body in the streets of Bokrum in the suburb called Limes Quarry, and the report was made to the police. So after preliminary police investigation, the 4 suspects were arrested. They have been identified as Samuel Ade, Emmanuel Efiye, Yao Opoku, and then Margaret Abora for her role in the death of the deceased. So as we speak, the 4 are being held in custody of the Bokrum police, whilst the body of the deceased has been deposited at the Confirmation Teaching Hospital awaiting autopsy. Israel.
Now, Ohima, you indicated earlier that the police are also looking for some persons who are currently at large. Do we know their identities?
Unfortunately, police will not give enough information except to say that there are people they suspect are accomplices and they are looking for them. So for now, they want to keep the names or the identity of those involved to their chest whilst investigations continue. And they've also appealed to residents in the vicinity who have information on the people who took part in this dark to also report him to police to enhance and further their investigation.
All right, so you're indicating that they're asking people in the vicinity to volunteer information on these people, except they are not saying which people these are.
Yes, they believe that the residents know those who took part in the act. For instance, it was residents who described the deceased as a habitual drunkard, somebody who has been drinking from this same spot for several months. So they know him, they know her, that she comes around and hawk around. And they believe that on this same day when she got drunk in that particular spot, there were people who were around, especially when the 2 gentlemen decided to offer some kind of assistance by keeping her in their room so that when she overcomes the situation, she will be able to go back to her house. But that didn't happen. So they say that, yes, people saw her in that same hour, in that same minute, with people drinking in that spot. So they want them to volunteer information. And I must say that it was information from residents who also led to the arrest of these 4 people. Had it not been the residents who volunteer information, I'm not sure, as police said, they are not sure they would have gotten to the bottom of this matter, except to say they would have even found that, okay, this is somebody who was found or who was seen walking. So the next day, if they found the body in the street, nobody will be held culpable. But this time around, they have been swift and managed to arrest 4 suspects. Israel.
All right, thank you very much, Ohima Teria. The joint military and police team has been deployed to fielding communities in the Treponi district of the northern region following renewed clashes between the Konkumbas and Chokosis. 3 persons have reportedly sustained gunshot wounds and several houses burnt after violence erupted on Monday at Nadoni and Kugweni, where the 2 tribes have been feuding overland. Member of Parliament for Treponi, Samuel Jaban Yete, says the District Security Council had picked intelligence of looming communal clashes last month, but finds it surprising the conflict has escalated despite peace talks.
You know, this is not the first time it's happened. We have been working closely with the people to find an amicable solution to the matter. So in view of this, there has been the District Security Council established an intertribal committee made up of chiefs, opinion leaders, assemblymen to speak with the issue and then get all the parties involved. And this has been going on for some time now. But I think in early December, We had security intelligence that this was going to happen. So we've been speaking. I got a briefing. The DC also got a briefing, and we further intensified the discussion. So we didn't have the slightest idea that something like this could happen until just we heard last night some people crossed from Togo on a motorbike, and there was some small, but of the same community, there was some small misunderstanding. They went to the police station to report the matter. The police got there in the night. After 2 a.m. this morning, the police was in the community, and just when the police left, then the fight began. The military have arrived. They are post. The police too are there. Some houses have been touched down. Officially, 3 people sustained gun wounds. These 3 have been brought to the hospital, and I think the medical, fortunately, the doctor is at post, and I'm told it's manageable.
DC for the area Abdul Razak Tahidu, who described the incident as unfortunate, says security is being beefed up in the communities to restore peace and order.
Yesterday in the evening, some of the Chokotis were from a riverside. They went for fishing, and on their way back, one Kokoma man used a stick to hit them. So they came to the police station and reported. So the police went to the place and inquired, and they told them that there will not be any other issue. So the police and the BNI got to Checkpoint around 2 a.m. Then I understand 3 o'clock a.m. they started firing into the Checkpoint the settlement, and they burned their houses.
How many houses were burnt?
Oh, my brother, I have not been to the scene, so I can't know the number for now. Okay, that's for the Checkpoint. And there's a other side too. The name is Naburuku, where the Konkombes have attacked and burned their houses. That one too, I don't know the number.
Have anyone been injured?
For now, at Checkpoint, we have 3 injured. They are at the hospital.
Are any of the people dead?
No, I've not heard of any death.
But what's the condition of those who are injured?
They are under treatment at the hospital. They are receiving medical attention.
As the head of the DISEC, what are you also doing about the situation?
Reinforcements from Yendi now, both military and police, so they are the police.
Have there been any arrests so far?
No, the police came, and the military have they lost their way, and they are in Checkpoint town. They are yet to take them to the scene. But the police, they are at the scene.
Now, we're joined on the line now by DSP Tanko to give us some updates on this situation. Thank you for making time to speak with us. What can you tell us about the situation, the security situation there right now? It appears we have lost DSP Tanko. We're taking a break here on JoyNews Prime. We will try and re-establish contact with him so we can bring you that update. But still ahead in the bulletin, former President John Mahama has a New Year message for Ghanaians. The Kumasi Traditional Council wants government to restore with immediate effect the power of chiefs to summon their subjects if the president wants traditional leaders to play any meaningful role in solving pertinent issues in their local areas. President of the Kumasi Traditional Council and Chief of Bantama, Bafo Owusu Amankwetia, is emphatic the fight against Galamsey, for example, is bound to fail without Nananum and their power summoned. The Traditional Council wants President Akufo-Addo to fulfill his promise to chiefs last year to give them power and resources to resolve issues at the local level. The Chief of Bantama, Bafo Owusu Amankwetia, was speaking to journalists in Kumasi.
Seize the opportunity provided by this platform to appeal to the government that he should try and restore the chief's power of summons without delay. If he really wants the chiefs to help him to succeed, if he wants the chiefs' cooperation, if he wants the chiefs to be effective in their local areas, then it's very important that this power is restored. We have told the government, we've had on so many, fora that, we've had the occasion to, meet the government. We have made it clear to him that if that thing is not done, it will be very, very difficult for us to be effective in the local areas. The government has, promised that it's going to, act positively on this issue. But as we speak, I think the last time that we went to Accra I think it's over a year now, and we haven't heard from the government. So we are reminding the government that if indeed he wants the chief to be effective in the we are the only people who can control our local areas. A military man can control our local area. A policeman, he will need our cooperation to control the local area. There are information that comes to us, it never gets to anybody. We have real informants at the local area. But then when we get the information, what do we do with it? There's nothing you can do with it because you don't have the power to even summon the person to come before you. So this is a very, very important issue. We want the government to look at it and then in the shortest possible time, try and restore this power.
He also warned the Kumasi Traditional Council will from this year embark on a rigorous enforcement of bylaws to get traders off the pavement and other unauthorized areas in Kumasi. He wants all traders flying their businesses at unauthorized areas to vacate immediately. This year, start cracking the whip on workers who failed to file their tax returns. This was after it had given several amnesties with the hope that employees will willingly comply with the law, which makes filing taxes mandatory. Speaking on upfront with Raymond Akwa, the Commissioner General of the GRA, Emmanuel Kofinti, explained one cannot refuse to obey this law merely because the employers deduct taxes from their salaries.
GRA is going to bite. What we're going to do is that once we are widening the tax level with the thing and the rest, the next thing is getting all Ghanaians to file their tax.
File taxes?
Yes, that's the rule.
When?
And by the 30th of April every year, all potential taxpayers, Ghanaians, when they are outside the country, they are in the UK, they are in the US, they are in Canada and the rest, they rise to pay their taxes.
What does it mean?
That's a culture.
Okay.
It's what we want to bring down to our people here.
But,
and to start off, we gave tax amnesty. And now that the time has elapsed, expired, now is the time to bite. And fortunately, at the GRA and at our level, we know how we manage to get everybody into the tax net.
I see.
And we are going to work at that. And 2019, and it's not a joke time.
Explain to me, what does it mean? What do you mean when you say that I should file my taxes?
File your taxes is saying that the income that came to you in a year, you have to let the state know. Yes, the income that came to you in a year, and then relate it to the tax brackets, the bands and the rest, and be able to determine that this is the level of income that came to you. And so then you have to be able to be taxed on that.
GRA knows my salary. There's a deduction for my salary that comes to the GRA all the time.
No, it's Raymond, your income is not only your salary that comes to you.
Which other one?
The Joy knows you to the extent that it gives you your pay.
Yes.
But Joy doesn't know you fully. It's you, Raymond, as you sit.
Yes.
You alone, you know the totality of the income that comes to you.
Okay, so if I go and do what we call Galassi, now you have to take money from it.
Yes, you have to. Account for all the income that came to you in a year.
Now, the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research says it is making inroads with its initiative to get children actively involved in tree planting in the Ashanti region. The Forest Research Institute of Ghana FORIG Basic Tree Planting Program aims to educate children on the importance of preserving the environment as well as protecting it. Senior research scientist at CSIR FORIG, Dr. Gloria Jane Jagbate, says there is a need for a collaborative effort between scientists and children in tree planting initiatives in order to grow the forest cover. Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin reports.
Ghana is ranked as one of the highest rates of deforestation in the world, with rural households highly dependent on forest resources for food, materials, and cash income. Many methods and initiatives have been initiated by successive governments to reverse the trend. But according to Forest Research Institute of Ghana, working with children to influence their thinking and use of forest resources would build them towards sustainable forest management. According to Dr. Gloria Jane Jablate at the CSIR Forest Research Institute, it does not make sense to teach young children theory without practice.
In the course of a sensitization campaign, what we observed is the students, yes, they are somewhat aware of what is happening in their surroundings, but the information is quite scattered. So it's just a form of, piecing pieces and bits together. So they will know that, oh, so this is why this is happening. And not that all hopes are lost. We can also do something to salvage situation. So it's like a form of hope being brought into some hopelessness situation.
Experts believe active engagement of children is more likely to bring about positive learning results.
As long as we will reach millions of Ghanaian children, because it is our desire that we bring environmental and climate change issues to the doorsteps of every school-going child. So we've started with the basic schools. Now I think we visited about 6 to 7 schools, and we hope to do more. Prayer is maybe we'll get people to hold our loins, in the form of funding, because it's quite expensive, you know.
To protect the forest, you're supposed to plant more trees and create nature reserves.
What are you going to do as a person?
I personally would inform other people on the effects of doing some practices that destroy the forest, and I'll also teach them on the importance of the forest.
Try as much as possible to educate anyone I get in contact with about the effects of destroying the environment, and also ways to protect the environment from being destroyed. Okay.
Former President John Dramani Mahama says he hopes conditions get better in the country in the new year. He urged Ghanaians to work hard to enhance their lives even as the world changes. He's been speaking with our JoyNews reporter, Train Sowusu.
Ghanaians official park. And may God bless our homeland, Ghana. Amen. Just wish that things get better in Ghana. Oh, sir, they should work hard. The world is changing, and you may be it's not the same, and so they face a more challenging future. Into money, people should work hard, and I'm sure that government will do everything it can to make things better.
Well, elsewhere, the Kusumu International School emerged winner in a quiz competition organized among schools in the Sujamang district of the Eastern region. Established by former Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Paul Asariansa, it is hoped it will lead to an improvement in the performance of senior high school students there. Speaking at this year's competition held at Akwamumang SHS, the former Ports and Harbours Director General, however, urged all stakeholders to get involved. Correspondent Kwame Yanka's report.
The Paul Ansa annual senior high school quiz competition was instituted in 2017. Senior high schools in the Sujaman districts compete among themselves to determine the best school. Former Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Paul Asariansa, believes this will go a long way to improve education in the district.
Is to encourage teaching and learning, to improve teaching and learning. The important thing is that all the questions were set from the syllabus they use in their academic work. 4 core subjects: English, Maths, Integrated Science, and Social Studies. So it will help them to learn more than they've been doing. Last year when we introduced it at Apekusu Secondary School, it was Boso Secondary Technical School that took the first position. Today, the second edition, Akusumu International School, took the first position. It will interest you to know that Learning Field, that took the 3rd position, initially withdrew from the competition because they were scared. But we had to go and encourage them, to resign their decision. And lo and behold, when they came, they took the 3rd position.
The Sojaman District Director of Education, Mavis Opaibia Irenchi, says the competition will encourage learning.
And last year, Boso Senior High School won. They took away all their prizes. And this year, AIS also won. Every school is keen. They want to win and take the prizes and make sure that everybody will know that they are on top of the schools. We have 5 public senior high schools and 2 private senior high schools, making 7 in all. This year's prizes was improvement over last year, and it was keenly contested for, and I'm happy that the best school won. And so the others are also going to sit up and prepare for next year so that they will also win. The quiz is a way of asking series of questions at a go. It's not a matter of them sitting down and writing. It's an academic exercise. So it helps them to sit up and study. This time we had 4 areas, the core areas: maths, English, science, social studies.
The winning school at Konsombo International School, AIS, took home a cash prize of 2,000 CDs and laptops. Lois Jifa Ochi is one of the contestants who represented AIS.
We are grateful for the laptops, we are grateful for the money for our school, for the 2,000 CDs, and for everything we've learned to help us. And then for learning, further learning, because it will be helpful in learning, yes. We didn't really think we'd be first. We were just coming to do our best. So then we were surprised when we won. But they should put in effort in learning, even though it's hard, because it makes a difference and it can take you places.
The competition is predicted to become one of the most anticipated educational events as the years go by. Kwame Yankas reports for JoyNews.
Canned food salvage from wholesale shops raised down in last Sunday's fire outbreak at the Doom in Kumasi found their way onto the market. The Food and Drugs Authority as well as National Disaster Management Organization say the widespread situation threatens public health. Officials are on a joint public education initiative to discourage patronage and consumption of such products. Nanaya Ojima has more in this report.
From the Central Business District of Adum to Dr. Mensah and other commercial hubs in the city, traders offer the items for sale. A visit to PZ building fire scene at Adum reveals serious scavenging, especially by head porters. Not even the presence and warning of security personnel are enough to scare them. Ashanti Regional Head of NADMO, Kwablan Senche, warns the public of the health implication.
People are buying it. When you go to the Tamensa, they organize it over there. People were buying. You see, so those food vendors, I think it was very cheap for them. So they were patronizing that kind of stuff, which is very bad. It's not consumable. The challenge is big. As you rightly said, and you have witnessed some of them. We are telling the people we have coded this place not to come, but they keep on coming. We tell them don't pack, they keep on packing. So these are the major challenge, but we have recorded everything. We are going to, put everything in our reports. Then the authorities will have, something to talk about it or something to do about it.
NADMO reviews plans to do a complete assessment on all old buildings in the city center as clearing of debris continues.
This building was put up in 1938, so as to this one and very other ones. So I think there should be project that the fire, NADMO, and police, we have to come together, and electricity also. We have to come together and make sure we do inspection. You see, we have to do a thorough inspection to ascertain whether the electrical cables. I think it's more than 50 years. It's not good to still use those cables that when Kwame Nkrumah was a president of Ghana. I think something has to be done. Our culture of maintenance is bad. It's very, very bad. Very, very bad. So I think there should be an organization to inspect that kind of, thing.
Nanaya Ojima reporting.
He can't see because his eyeballs are gone. He breathes from his mouth as his nostrils are almost blocked, and he can't even cry about his situation because there are no tear ducts through which the tears would flow. To many, he appears like an unfinished work of art. That is the story of one acid survivor whose story was shared earlier this year. 8 months after the story was aired, Isaac Yao Dankwa is yet to get the help he wished for. He is one of the stories from last year. We're bringing back a report filed by JoyNews' Patricia Gasu.
Meet 37-year-old Isaac Dankwa. A terrible incident which happened 7 years ago changed his life forever. Armed robbers attacked him when he was driving his taxi and poured acid on his face. The acid made the skin tissue on his face to melt away, while the dangerous liquid seeped deep into his eyeballs, almost dissolving both eyes. Isaac may have survived the acid attack, but his entire life has been shattered by the event of that night.
The driver, I'm Swedro, Agona Swedro.
I was a driver at Agona Swedro when two men decided to board my car to Adeso. I agreed to transport them and then bring them back to Swedro before payment. On our way, I overheard one say to the other, "What should we do to him?"
Slow down.
Out of curiosity, I turned to ask what he meant by that. Before I could blink, he poured the acid on my face. I couldn't see anything. I was burning. He got down and pulled me out of my car, demanding for my car keys. I wondered, if you needed my car, why would you do this to me? So I locked the steering wheel and threw the keys into the bush. That angered them. One later said to the other, "Why don't we just kill him and go?"
The scars left by the acid are skin deep. He has lost the use of both eyes and nose. Isaac is not just blind. He has a layer of skin which covers his eyes and his nose, making him look like an unfinished work of art. The result of the surgery makes him sound nasal because both nostrils are almost fully blocked. He breathes through his mouth. The acid didn't just dissolve Isaac's facial tissues, it melted his self-worth and crushed everything in his life.
I feel really sad most of the time because when I remember how I used to be and now what I have become, I feel really sad. Talking to you now reminds me of my pain, and that makes me really, really sad.
He lives here in Sakwa, a small town in Ewutu Senior West District. This morning, Isaac is sitting under the cocoa tree staring into skies as if he can actually see something. The thought of being dependent now on people makes him sad. There are days Isaac does nothing but cry. But with a thin layer of skin covering his eyes, Isaac has no tears. He is the only child of his parent. His father was so stricken with grief after the incident. The old man died after a few years. Isaac lives with his mother who has troubles of her own. She is deaf in one ear.
Metesa umame nso ase nasuba kun esi kakra. Nti ba na sa we den ne kasa o friend na o he den ti.
My friend, I just my friend kese.
I have to scream out to call my mother anytime I need help. She is deaf in one ear, and it poses a lot of challenge, especially when I need her at night.
And son of Betty. And I joke around with that, I know him once, so I will say.
And I just be here, me sorry, me baby, or that me sorry, now the messako come.
No, sorry.
Many who live with such disfiguring scars have great difficulty in finding jobs, sometimes even finding a life partner. He tells me the only lady who decided to marry him was stopped by her parents due to his condition. Isaac needs surgery to fix his nose and a job. He tells me it is sometimes difficult for him to get money for food. He and his mother rely solely on some of the farm produce she brings home. 7 years of pain. Isaac lives with the trauma of being maimed as the depressing grip of loneliness fills his empty soul every passing moment. But he has hopes of getting a chance back at life. Though he might never see again, Isaac wants to work. He wants to use the little courage left in him to do something useful, something more than just sitting his life away under this tree. Patricia Gasu, JoyNews, Sakwa.
Now, the donations that came in after the story was aired on April 25, 2018 amounted to 13,000 cedis, 2,000 cedis shy of the amount Isaac needs for the surgery. Now, if you feel moved enough to want to help, please give us a call. Kindly direct any support through Barclays Bank Multimedia Group Limited at 041-201-8095. I'd have to repeat that number again, 041-201-8095. That's a Circle branch, or you can send mobile money to 054-01-22612. Let me repeat that number again, 054-012-2612. Now, 2018 was yet another eventful one for Ghanaian media, with coverage of stories on a wide range of issues of national importance. On Retrospect, we bring you some of the major stories that made it to the headlines in 2018, from allegations of corruption at BOST, the appointment of Martin Amidu as special prosecutor to fight corruption, and the crisis in the banking sector, which saw the takeover of another 5 banks by a new bank, Consolidated Bank Ghana. There's more in the following report.
BOST was the only company across the world that would agree to sell crude at a discount of $2, not $1.
Experts raised red flags about dealings at the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Company Limited. The oil company was heavily criticized in 2017 for selling 5 million liters of contaminated fuel to 2 unlicensed companies, Movipina and Zoop Oil, which were allegedly set up few days before the sale, making Ghana lose about 7 million Ghana cedis in revenue. The allegations forced the hand of the president, who on the 5th of June sacked the MD. Mr. Boateng, however, maintained he did no wrong in the questionable sale of the contaminated fuel. The executive director of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Duncan Amwa, explained why the Office of the Special Prosecutor should be interested in the matter, which has cost the state some 7 million cedis.
There are losses across the chain, and we think that the Special Prosecutor must be interested in this one. IOCO must be interested in this one. The police CID must be interested in this one.
But the Special Prosecutor got frustrated at the snail's pace at which things were going. He argued he couldn't at the time have acted because he didn't have the legislative instruments from where he derived his powers. But even after the passage of the LI and him securing an office with budget allocation, the Special Prosecutor, Martin Amidu, has so far not shown interest in pursuing the questionable field sale, at least not so far. But yet another story which will continue to remain in the headlines is the collapse of some 5 indigenous banks. Coming on the back of the collapse of 2 banks the previous year, the failure of Sovereign Bank, Royal Bank, the Beach Bank, Construction Bank, and Unibank caused panic amongst customers and undermined the public's confidence in the sector, causing a run on some of the surviving indigenous banks. The revelation that followed the bank collapse were shocking. Former Finance Minister, a former Bank of Ghana governor himself, Dr. Kwabena Dufour, is however not letting go the takeover of his bank, Unibank, without a fight. He sued the central bank over the revocation of Unibank's operating license and prayed the High Court to order an injunction restraining the Bank of Ghana from expropriating Unibank. The suit was, however, thrown out. To date, the takeover is said to have cost the states more than 9 billion Ghana cedis. Whilst at Edo, details about events leading to the collapse of UT and Capital Banks emerged in a leaked report, which seriously indicted the board chairman of the defunct Capital Bank, Dr. Mensah Otabil. His first comments about the reports were brief but notable.
In the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of interesting things happening. in our country, and I seem to be in the midst of some of those interesting things. So I felt that as your pastor, I owe you an explanation to come to church and to make a statement of what my views are, so that when you go out and people come up with information, you would have a response to give to them. So this morning I came to make a response, and there are 3 statements I would make in regard to the response I want to give, and which I expect you to carry along to explain what is happening. My first statement is that God is good. My second statement is that God is good. And my third statement is that God is good.
The banking sector continued to dominate headlines right into the new year, with some of the indigenous banks unable to meet the new minimum capital requirements set by the Bank of Ghana, primed to go down. They have, however, been thrown a lifeline, though it isn't yet clear which of them is taking the lifeline and which ones would fold or downgrade.
All right, and that'll be all for the bulletin. My name is Israeli. On behalf of the entire team, I wish you a Happy New Year.
This is JoyNews Prime.